Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor, as well as international education advisor, coming live to you from Hamilton, New Zealand, like every week. As always, I like to get in front of this camera on Facebook as well as on YouTube and come live to all you beautiful people out there who are desirous of making it to New Zealand, either to come and study here and be here for a short period of time, or to go on and to stay here for a much longer period of time and go on to become very productive workers, residents, and citizens of this country. So, my team and I at AJV Services Limited, we are a New Zealand based company with about 30 people spread in different parts of the world. So we have a team of people here in New Zealand, plus we also have a very big team of people in India, plus we have a small team in Dubai. So between all of us, what we do is we speak to prospective students like yourself or prospective migrants like yourself who would like to come to New Zealand and consider being here and making it your new home. So I'm coming live on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm requesting all of you who are on YouTube to come to Facebook and ask your questions there because it's easier for me in a live situation to be able to manage with one screen rather than toggle with two screens and sometimes end up losing my connection and there's a break in the broadcast. So requesting everybody who's there to move on to Facebook Live. So just come to facebook.com/AJV Global. That is our page, and you will see us live there. And you can ask your questions, and we would love to answer your questions. So while I'm waiting for some questions to come in, I can see a lot of my team members have already joined in. So warm welcome to you guys as well, my wonderful team that supports me on those live broadcasts and assists me by giving background information about people who are asking questions. So if you are one of those people asking me a question, I will also appreciate if you can confirm whether you're already an AJV student or somebody who is actively speaking to our team, or if you're somebody who is in New Zealand but came through some other agency and you just want to seek some information. Happy to answer all questions. But those who are AJV students and who are working with us will definitely get much more deeper information because these broadcasts are essentially meant for our AJV students and clients, but quite happy to give some information to non-AJV students and clients as well. Some of your questions will fall under the category of professional immigration advice. So for that, of course, we will have to come back to you later and give you more in-depth information. As always, I'm gonna start by showing you a copy of my license. This is the license that is issued to me by the government of New Zealand to practice as a licensed immigration advisor. So the government of New Zealand has made it illegal for anybody without this license to provide advice about migrating to New Zealand. The only exception is if an advisor is not present in New Zealand but based outside New Zealand, they can talk only and only about student visas. They cannot talk about any other visa. And as I keep repeating in quite a few of my broadcasts, if you're a student who is planning to come to New Zealand and you're planning to also come with your spouse or children as a family, please ensure that you pick and choose a company like AJV, which has got a licensed advisor like myself. And one of our senior managers is also about to get her license. And a third manager is about to enroll into the course, which will then lead towards this license eventually. So if you guys are serious about coming to New Zealand as a family, please ensure that you're talking to the right professionals because going abroad, whether to New Zealand or to any other country, is a very long and elongated process. And it's very important you have the right advisors by you. A lot of you do a good job of choosing the course, the country, the college, and all that you do very well, in terms of making those choices. But when it comes to your consultant and your advisor, I think some of you are not making the right choice. You are opting to work with people who are present in your country and have no presence in New Zealand. Most of you probably do not understand or realize that what happens in your country, which is admission and visa process, is only about uh, 15 to 20% of your full journey. The bigger part, the part or the portion of this journey actually happens onshore here in New Zealand. So you need to choose a company that is actually present in the destination where you're going to, and that's the, or at least is able to provide you ongoing support even after you reach that country. That's the kind of consultant and advisory and agency you guys need to choose. For instance, I have after this, after I finish this particular broadcast, I would be getting on the phone and speaking to two, three of my students called Rina and Akash and a couple of other people who have asked questions relating to what will. So Rina is still in her course. She is kind of still in the middle of it. Akash is almost coming to the end of his course. So Rina has got questions about what happens in the middle of the course. Akash has got questions about what happens after he completes the course. And for all of them, we guys are just a phone call away. We'll pick up the phone, talk to them after this particular session is over, and give them that pure, clear guidelines and stuff like that. So, if you're a young person or a student who's planning to go overseas to any country, please ensure you're choosing the right advisor. As a company, we are planning to set up a 24/7 helpline for all our students. Whether we'll base it in New Zealand or India, we haven't yet made up our mind. But whoever has got a query, who's an AGV student, we intend to come to them and address their issues immediately, whatever be the issue, whether it's with your college or with your course or what happens after the course, your career, or if you're in some kind of trouble, some emergency, we intend to stand by you guys. Okay, so waiting for some questions, nothing so far. So I would like to talk a little bit about. So you guys can start asking your questions. In the meantime, I will also talk about what I did over the weekend. Over the weekend, I went with. I'm also a student, by the way, where I'm learning something called Tikanga Maori, which is, as you guys are aware, the Maori are the original inhabitants of New Zealand, and they have a beautiful tradition and culture. So I've always been very interested to know about the Maori because they were the first inhabitants of New Zealand, followed by the Europeans, and now, of course, followed by a lot of other migrants like myself from India, China, South Africa, various places. Migrants are coming from everywhere. But I'm very keen to understand what is the tradition and culture of the original inhabitants of New Zealand. So I went over the weekend and learned a lot of interesting stuff about history and culture and traditions and everything else. So it was quite fascinating. That is one of my suggestions to you. If you go to any country as a student or a migrant, put in an effort and try to understand that country better because that will definitely make you more well adjusted to that particular country. All right, cool. In the meantime, some questions have started coming in. So every week, whenever I come live, I give a little bit of introductory speech before the questions start coming in. And the questions are in, so I'm going to start. First question is from Mohammad Usman, asked on YouTube, but my team pasted it here on uh, Facebook. And Mohammad Usman says, "Hi, Arun, new visa system where visa won't be stamped. What about people whose passports are expiring? Will they renew visa?" It's, I think, a very good question. Earlier, what happened was that there was a visa stamp which would actually be embedded into the passport of an applicant, but now New Zealand immigration is actually giving out something called a paper visa. I probably will have some on my phone because today I got a visa for one of our clients who was applied for a visa. So it got emailed to me, which I forwarded to him. So very good question, Mohammed. I think earlier when there was a sticker, you had to reapply to get the sticker transferred from one passport to the other. But I think what is going to happen in this system, Mohammed, and this is only a guess, this is not pure advice. I think the visa stamp would also the visa would also be given only till the expiry of your passport date, is what I believe. So once you finish your 2-3 months before the expiry of your passport, I recommend that you apply for your new passport. And once you get your new passport, if you're Paper visa was given only with the expiry date of your passport. Then apply to immigration again, and check back with the immigration department, and they will advise you to either apply again, or they might just give you a fresh visa. But most likely they will charge you a little bit more money, and most likely I think it will come under a small, a minor service, and they should be able to extend it. So that is my understanding, that even though they give you a paper visa, I think it will only be valid till the expiry of your passport. So apply for your passport. Once you get the new passport, approach immigration department, and they should then be able to give you a further paper visa. This is what I think is going to happen. But very good question. I'm going to research some more about it. Okay, Pushpreet Singh asks, I'll also be looking down, guys, because my team keeps pinging me on Skype, and so I'll be looking down to see if they're giving me any inputs about all you guys, and they're supposed to identify and tell me if you guys are AJV students or not. So I'll keep looking down sometimes. So yeah, right. Pushpreet Singh asks, can we apply for New Zealand study with 10 years of gap? I think there is absolutely no problem with that, Pushpreet, because we have worked with clients who have had very long gaps in their career or in their education, mostly because they have either been working and their last course they undertook was a long time ago. So, but some, for women especially, because they become mothers, they take a break from education and career. But we have worked with students who have had very long gaps. I think the longest gap was a lady who did her uh, masters, and when she was in her 27 or 28. Now she's 50 or 51, and so almost about 22 or 23 years of gap. She wanted to study again. She wanted to do another master's in linguistics. So we helped her, and so absolutely no problem, Pushpreet. And I think it is how good your consultant is, how good your advisor is, and how we formulate that story or explain that gaps to the immigration officer. So we have been extremely successful in representing students who have had long gaps in their studies. So we would be delighted to work with you, Pushpreet. But the answer to your question, there is no problem with the gap in your studies, as long as it can be explained clearly. And even if you did not do anything for 10 years, even if you were just sitting back and traveling the world or whatever, we'll be happy to explain that then, and still present a strong case. So, no problem with the gaps in your studies, guys, because anybody can take up education at any time. In fact, yesterday I was telling my team that I'm getting very excited about doing a master's. I turned 50 this year, so but the desire to study is very high, because over the weekend when I went and did that trip of mine to check on, to understand Maori history and European Maori relationships and all that, I was very excited to do my own master. So I could be and the last time I was in a class was quite many years ago. So no problem with the gap push print. But please connect with our team if you are not connected already, or my team will connect. Talk to us and we will help you. Right. Vaibhav Bhatia, sir, what is the current scenario of post-study work rights for students in New Zealand? No change, Vaibhav. As I said, there is a lot of discussion, of course, whether they're going to change the work rights. But as of now, it is still the same old policy. You will get a 1 year post study work visa. And if you're able to find a relevant job, you will further get a 2 years post study work visa, employer assisted. Or if your salary is good, you can go into an essential skills work visa. If your salary is really good, you might even end up going into a resident visa. But as of now, there is no. The current scenario, Vaibhav, is that it is the same. It is business as usual, so it's 1 year post study work visa. Jignesh says, all say that he's a YouTube query and says, all say that in New Zealand they are not giving PR. Again, Jignesh, if New Zealand stops giving PR, New Zealand will collapse, because New Zealand requires a lot of workers, skilled workers. And yesterday, Monday, when I start my week, every Monday I get an email from one gentleman called Graham Muller. He is I think, the CEO of an technology organization called NZ Tech. which is like the apex body for technology organizations, and he was lamenting the fact that there are a lot of skill shortages in New Zealand. So we have a lot of skill shortages, Jignesh, and so that's why the government also comes out with something called the long-term skill shortage list, the immediate skills shortage list, the Canterbury skills shortage list, and I think they are now working on creating a regional skill shortage list of the different regions: Northland, Auckland, Waikato, where I live. So they cannot stop giving PRs, Jignesh, because we require a lot of skilled workers in New Zealand. So, and guys, any country has got a migration program because there is a shortage of skilled workers. So in New Zealand, I think we have a pretty severe shortage of construction workers, IT workers, aged care workers. So I think these are some of the, plus of course all the other skills mentioned in the long-term skill shortage list. We have it. So Jignesh, we can't stop giving residency and PRs to people. We need people here. It's only a question of filtering out and making sure that the right people are getting in, people with the English, the right attitude, enough finances, and that kind of stuff. So that's what it is. So don't worry about all that say that they are not giving PR in New Zealand. There are plenty of residency options in New Zealand. Okay, Pushpreet, I have already answered. Sanpreet Kohli asks, what job opportunities are available for commerce graduates after completing applied management level 7? Yeah, man, if you've done a level 7 applied management, Sanpreet, I don't think you're an AJV student. If you're, or I don't even can't make out if you're already in New Zealand or not. But normally, after completing applied management level 7, you should be able to get into a generic core, job like any general business course like administration or finance or sales and marketing or HR and so on and so forth. I don't know what are the papers in your particular applied management, but by and large, if you're a commerce graduate and you're completing a course in applied management, these are the kind of areas you could look at. I don't expect, I mean, unless until you have very good experience prior to doing this particular course, I don't expect you'll get into a very senior position, but does not matter. There is a, again, like I said, as I keep saying, it is not only the long-term skills shortage occupations where there's a demand. New Zealand also has got a lot of demand for other people like general office workers, like in sales, marketing, HR, finance, administration, so on and so forth. So we do require general service staff kind of people as well. So yeah, I think that's the kind of stuff you should need to be looking at, Sanpreet. And if you're still planning to come to New Zealand, get in with touch with our team because we will then connect you to some of our students who have done a similar course like yours, which is applied management. Some of them have gone on to pick up jobs in customer service. Some of them have gone to pick up jobs in HR, recruitment industry, so on and so forth. So that's the kind of stuff you can look at, Sanpreet. And if you're already in New Zealand, well, all the best because I don't think if you would have come to New Zealand through us. But if you're still planning to come to New Zealand, I strongly recommend that you get in touch with our team because, as I told you, we would not only help you while you're still in your country, but once you reach here as well, we assist you with your jobs and continue to give our advice basically. All right. So please do get in touch, Sanpreet. Adam Hamza has asked, I have sent you an email with my CV to the possibilities of getting an enrollment for higher studies in the field of hotel management. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate. I get a lot of emails, so I'm sorry if I have not responded to you. I might have responded to you, or I might have even flicked it onto my team because we have a solid team of experts who are very good at team. If you can confirm to me if Adam Hamza is being spoken to, please let me know. But thank you for sending your CV to me, Adam. I will definitely look after I'm done with this particular broadcast, and I will pass it along to my team. But we will, if you, we, the possibility of an enrollment in the field of hotel management will be pretty high because first and foremost, international education is a business for New Zealand. It's a $4.5 industry right now, and so we want to attract good students who will come and study in New Zealand. So obviously, we would like to enroll you into one of our institutions, but also because you're choosing hotel management, which is in the hospitality industry, and we as a country we have tourism as our first industry. So there are millions of tourists who come to New Zealand year on year. So obviously people in hotel management industry and chefing, cookery, and tourism, doing activities and other stuff for tourists is are required in this country. So your course choice is very good. I can think of at least three or four different institutions that we can recommend to you. So thanks for writing, Adam. I will definitely have a look, and either I will respond myself or flick it on to one of our team members, who will then contact you and put the options of different courses, what is the cost, different cities, opportunities in jobs, and so on and so forth. And we also have some old clients who already have completed their courses in hospitality and hotel management and now well settled in New Zealand. We'll also be able to connect you to them so that you can also kind of begin to have a network of people in your industry. All right, cool. But thanks for reaching out to us. Much appreciated. We love working with smart young people like you. So thanks for reaching out to HAV. We will stand by you, Adam. Thanks. Samawal Ismail says, "Hey, so good to have you." Well, good to have you as well, Samawal. Thanks for that. Pushpreet says, "I would like to have your email ID." Pushpreet, just send an email to info@ajvglobal.com. That is the email address. That's our generic email address. But send your CVs, and if you're married, also send your spouse's CV to info@ajvglobal.com. That is our common ID where all emails come and then they get forwarded to me. So please send your email, your CVs to info@ajvglobal.com, and it will come to me or one of our team will contact you. But we would love to work with you, Pushpreet, because don't worry about the gap. We've done exceedingly well with people who have a gap, so no problem. Yeah. Vaibhav says, also to quote, I'm talking about post graduation level 8. So yeah, I think Vaibhav, the answer is the same. They have not changed any policies about work rights yet, or post-study work rights. So as of now, it is still 1 year, whether you're doing a level 7 or an 8 or a 9. So that's what it is. And if it does change, you may be one of the lucky guys who might get a 3 year. So, but at this point, we're just waiting and watching all of you. Yeah. Ranjan Kumar says, "Is any course available for commerce stream?" Absolutely, Ranjan. Plenty of courses available in the commerce stream as well. Only word of, and we would absolutely be delighted to help you with that. Only word of advice is if you're coming with the intention of studying and then being able to pick up jobs in future in New Zealand, commerce stream might be a little tricky if you don't have any prior work experience. If you have prior work experience and you're planning to come for a course in commerce stream, I think it is a good option. But if you don't have prior work experience and you're coming for a course in commerce stream, you might struggle a little bit, is what I think. But again, you might be one of those guys who's really, really good on your communication. Then that will negate the fact that you do not have work experience. So I think it should still be okay. So definitely a lot of options in the commerce stream, Ranjan, and there will be a lot of very very good options, all the way from accounting to HR to sales marketing, digital marketing. There will be plenty of options for you available. So get in touch with the team, Ranjan, and we would love to help you and put all these options in front of you. All right. So, team, if you are listening, and also connect with Ranjan and see how we can assist him and gather some background information about him so that we can make the right course choice here. So, I'm not discouraging people to come to New Zealand if you don't have work experience, but what I'm saying is if you're aspiring to pick up future jobs and especially in commerce stream and the non-technical stream, so to speak, it helps to have some experience because then it is easier for an employer to look that you have the employability skills and the experience. So that's really all I'm saying. Harsh Shah asks, I'm a BMS graduate in India and now I'm doing graphic design certificate course so I can immigrate to New Zealand. Or what is the required education for it? Interesting switch, Harsh. You seem to have done a Bachelor of Management Studies and now shifted to graphic design, which is, I think, very good because graphic designers are also in good demand in New Zealand. I can think of at least 7 or 8 of my students who did courses in graphic design, and all of them found very good jobs. And in fact, yesterday I was watching. No, yeah, yesterday I was watching a program on New Zealand mainstream television. They've started a program called NZ Dance Masala, which is take off on Indian dancing and the Bollywood style of dancing and stuff like that. And so I was watching it, and the one of the judges is a very good friend of mine. So that's why I was kind of watching it. And then at the end of the program, I was watching all the people who participated in the making of that program. One girl happened to be my friend's daughter. And then I saw one name called Tiran, which said all graphics were done by Tiran. I felt so proud because Tiran is one of my students. Tiran came from Sri Lanka, and he came and did a course in the creative field here in New Zealand. And then we also helped him with his residency application. And I saw his name in one of the programs which said graphics by Tiran. I felt very, very proud. So, coming back to the point, yeah, graphic design is a good course choice, and all our students who've chosen graphic design have done very well. So, we would love to assist you to explore those options. You obviously have a BMS option as well as the graphic design option, and my gut instinct is saying stick to your graphic design if that's your real interest, because it's also a technical field, where you learn Photoshop and I think a lot of other software. I'm not an expert, but InDesign I think is one of the stuff you learn when you're doing graphic design. So we would love to talk to you. We work with 2 or 3 very, very, very good creative schools in New Zealand. So we would love to put you onto that. And like I said, the scope for graphic designers has been terrific. I have clear track record. I'm not just talking off the top of my head. I can give you 7 or 8 names of my own clients who came and did a graphic design course, found a job, got a work visa, got a salary raise, applied for a resident visa, and now are residing in New Zealand. So yeah, I think it's a good course choice. So Harsh, because you asked a question from YouTube, strongly recommend that you send your CV to info@ajvglobal.com, and we will come back to you and show you all the different options that are available to you. All right, cool. Vinay Reddy says, "Hello, sir. I'm culinary student. So how can I apply for the job? I don't know. Vinay, you need to be a bit more careful. Sorry, not careful. Clear about whether you're a culinary student in New Zealand or you're a culinary student in India, because you have not mentioned that. So please mention if you're if you're still a student, culinary student in India, or a culinary student here in New Zealand, because if you're a culinary student here in New Zealand, you just have to start applying for jobs like anybody else. And if you're an AJV student, come to us and we will connect you to at least 3 or 4 people who are again our old clients who are now working as chefs. In fact, recently one of my students has joined the New Zealand Navy as a chef. And so he's now working in the Navy. I think is working on a ship to. We have a lot of our own students who are chefs, so we can connect you to them. But if you're still in India, the way to apply for a job in New Zealand is to come here, do a course in chefing, and then pick up your post-study work with, and then apply for jobs. So please clarify, Vinay, if you're in India or in New Zealand, and then we'll be able to help you. If you're in New Zealand and came through some other agency, unfortunately, we may not be able to help you. And all I can wish you is all the very best and keep applying for jobs. If you're still in India and looking for jobs in New Zealand as a culinary student, get in touch with us and we would love to show you the pathway. Finding jobs directly is almost impossible, but we will show you the study plus work pathway. So please do talk to us. Yeah. Samawal Ismail says, I really admire your great effort. Thanks, Samahal. It is tough on the throat, I must tell you that. I want to ask about international students. PG scholarship in engineering. Okay, not a lot of scholarships are available in New Zealand, unfortunately. We only have 8 universities, so and they're all very good, world-class universities. Not a lot of scholarships are available, but sometimes there are. In fact, today in the morning, I got an email from the University of Otago, which said they're also now looking at some scholarships. So I forwarded that information to my two senior managers and asked them to share it with the rest of our team. So I think there will be a limited amount of scholarships that are available. So the best way for us to find out Samaval is if you can get in touch with us. You're already on Facebook, so you can inbox me, or my team will get in touch. If you want to just send your CV to info@ajvglobal.com, we can also look at your GPA and your percentage and see whether you're eligible for scholarships or not, and then also give you information whether you are eligible for any scholarship. So that's the best way forward for you. So get in touch with us and we will take it from there. But like I said, not a huge amount of scholarships, but yeah, we're willing to check your background and see if something is possible for you. All right, cool. Ajax Khan wants to know what about work permit. Again, Ajax, your question is not fully formed. It's like, are you based in New Zealand? Are you based outside New Zealand? Are you saying I want to come and work in New Zealand? So your question needs to be a bit more elaborate. Guys, is there if whoever wants to ask me questions, if you put in 3 or 4 sentences, it will be easier for me to answer. If somebody sends me a small question or one word saying why, I will answer why not. And that's your question and my answer. So please elaborate it a little bit more, and then I'll be able to answer. So what about work permit? Not easy if you're not present in New Zealand. If you're outside New Zealand and trying to get a work permit here, almost impossible. You can drop the idea. If you really are keen to work in New Zealand, I recommend get on shore, come as a student, and then once you finish that course, you will get an automatic work visa. So there's your work permit right there. But be prepared to make the investment of time, money, and effort to come as an international student first. All right, cool. Raj Purohit, India Mobile at interesting name. How much time will it take to get PR? Okay, now PR stands for permanent residency. It can also stand for public relations. It can stand for various things, but obviously, in our context of this live New Zealand education and migration discussion, it will obviously stand for permanent residency. So the way permanent residency works is that it's a two-stage process. So first, you need to get something called your resident visa. And after you get your resident visa, over the next 2 years, you need to prove that you are committed to New Zealand. And you can do it in 3 or 4 different ways. One way is by buying a house here, or the simplest way is for people to stay in New Zealand for year 1 and year 2 for a minimum of six months in the first year, 6 months in the first year, and 6 months in the second year. I think it's actually 183 days, if I'm not mistaken. It's either 183 or 184 days. So if you get your resident visa first, you need to stay in New Zealand for 183 days in the first year, and followed by 183 days in the second year. If you fulfill that commitment, or if you bought a house, and there are a few other conditions. If you fulfill any one of those conditions, then you get something called the permanent resident visa. So the difference between a resident visa and a permanent resident visa is that the resident visa will have an expiry date. A permanent resident visa will not have an expiry date, so you can come and go out of New Zealand as many as times as you like, and sometimes you can be out of New Zealand for years together and still be able to come back to New Zealand. So that's what it is. Hope I've answered Raj. And Raj, I also recommend you email your CV to AJV Global. So sorry, info@ajvglobal.com if you're looking for residency. And I can do an assessment and tell you whether you qualify for the residency or not in the first place. All right, cool. Gautam Chabra, hi Arun. Is there any implementation date of proposed changes? No, Gautam. As I said, it is still under discussion. The immigration department is strong. Education department is strong. Immigration department wants to keep people out. Education department wants to bring people who will pay international fees. So there is a benefit for education, but immigration says too many people. So it's like a constant battle between these people, and so they are still busy pushing each other back. So I don't know where the proposal is going to end. My particular my This is just my opinion, guys. I don't think they will change a lot of things, to be honest. Few will change. Maybe they'll get rid of that 2 year post study work visa, employer resisted, and make it into a nice long 3 year post study work visa, which is great because then students are free to look at careers for 3 years. And also it will help New Zealand because they'll have a lot of young skilled workers with work visas present in the country. But yeah, to answer your question, Gautam, nothing at this point. No implementation date of proposed changes. Jignesh, what if we take a 1 year program? If we take a 1 year, I think that's what he wants to say. What if I take a 1 year program and I get 1 year post study work permit? And what if I'm not able to land a job? So my visa would get extended, or I need to come back. If you can't find a job, obviously your visa will expire, so you will need to leave the country, Jignesh. But by and large, most students, especially our AJV students, quite a lot of our students are finding jobs in that 1 year. But in case you can't find, you will obviously have to go back, or you will need to re-enroll for another course. And that's also a trend I have noticed. Quite a lot of students seem to be so they're finishing a course, and after finishing the course, they are getting the 1 year post study work visa, and they are trying to find a relevant job. If they can't find a relevant job, some are going back, and some are re-enrolling for another course. So if you did a level 7, you got a 1 year work visa. Next, if you do a level 8, you'll get one more work visa. So if you, as long as you keep increasing your level of study, you will also get a 1 year work visa as per the current rules. So that's one option for you, Jignesh. But if you're, I don't know if you're already in New Zealand or you're asking this question from outside New Zealand. If you're it's outside New Zealand and you're planning to come, and that's why I asked this, get in touch with our team because our students, quite frankly, in the last 4 years, I can only think of, I think, one student who went back. I haven't heard of any of us. Not that I'm keeping track of each and everyone, but I think only one student actually went back to India because he could not find a job. But everybody, and I swear, guys, I'm not making this up. I'm looking at you in the live situation straight into your eyes. Every student of arts is finding a job, and they're just so happy. And whenever they have any doubts, any queries, they just pick up the phone and give me a call, or they call Mary, our senior manager. We have another brilliant team member locally here called Prakash. Between the three of us, we are able to sort all their issues. And another very senior person is going to join our team very soon in New Zealand, guys. And you'll be very pleased to know that this person has got about 15 years of experience in the immigration department. And, this person is going to join us. So we're becoming a very solid onshore team. So if you guys are serious as international students about success, you need to speak to people like us because we know what we're talking about. We have the not only the legal ability, but we have the experience, and I think most important, we have the commitment to help you guys. So that's what is going to really assist you guys. So please do talk to us. Jay Srivastava, I said that the rules that were proposed are going to be implemented. If yes, what are the rules that are implemented and when are they going to implement? No, Jay, nothing, no rules yet, as I just answered it 2 minutes back. Nothing, big fight happening at the moment, whether they should change the rules or not. I think they'll change, but I don't think they'll make it very difficult because international education is big business for New Zealand guys. And, I have a little, say I have the pinned here. Let's see if you guys can see. Say that is 140,000 students, $4.5 billion, 33,000 jobs, fourth largest industry in New Zealand, twice bigger than wine and fisheries, and target of $5 billion by 2025. How can they afford to shut down the doors on such an important industry? 33,000 jobs, $4.5 billion industry. So I don't think they can afford to mess with it too much. They'll have to find a balance, of course. So, and I think the government of New Zealand is very smart. I've met some very senior ministers and bureaucrats over the last 14, 15 years I've been in the industry. They are extremely smart people. They will find the balance, but don't worry too much about it. Niyati, my friend, is laughing with joy or sadness. What Jeffin John asks, what is the scope of civil engineering in New Zealand? Good question, Jeffin. I think I've made a video and I've put it up on my YouTube channel. For those of you guys who would like to check out my YouTube channel, please go there. Just go to YouTube and type Arun Jacob New Zealand, and you should be able to yeah, see the same face there. And yeah, I've made a video about civil engineering. It is highly in demand at the moment, Jeffin, because we're going through a massive housing crisis in New Zealand, and there's also a large demand for infrastructure construction like roads and buildings and so on and so forth. So we have a huge, we actually have a crisis. We have a housing crisis. So they are trying very hard to increase the number of people entering the construction industry. In fact, I think last week I was reading somewhere that the immigration minister is proposing to change some rules so that more construction workers can be brought from overseas. So that's how bad the situation is. So scope for civil engineering is very good, Jeffin. You must consider coming, and a lot of our students have already completed the courses and already working in the construction industry in New Zealand. And we would absolutely love to um, help work with you as well and connect you to some of these students. So please get in touch with our team and we would love to assist you. By the way, Gautam and Chabra and Jay Srivastava, my team is connected that you guys are both working with AJV and our students. Well done, guys. You are absolutely the smart ones. And don't worry about all these rule changes and other things. We are there on the ground to help you at each and every step. So don't worry about that. And Gautam's question was, yeah, I think both your question was the same. Gautam and Jay both asked me the same question, saying, is there any rule? Nothing is happening at the moment, guys. And I just showed you the reason why there may not be a lot of changes because it's a big industry who wants to keep tweaking with something that's giving such big benefits to New Zealand. So don't worry too much. And I'm here. If you boys are AJV students, you can pick up the phone and talk to me anytime after you land in New Zealand. Okay? Cool. Vishal Joshi, hi sir. How about sales profile job in New Zealand? Also, my wife is wants to do early childcare diploma. Please advise for the same job opportunities. So, sales profile, Vishal, you might be able to find something in retail. Obviously, it depends a lot on your conversational ability. Bear in mind, this is an English-speaking country, so the better your conversational ability and your English ability, I think, and if you're able to deliver your uh, thoughts and ideas out clearly, I don't think there should be a problem too much. About your wife wanting to do a course in early early childhood care, I think it's a good course choice because a lot of early childhood education in New Zealand is funded by the government. So a lot of private players or private organizations that are present in this early childhood arena are also receiving funds from the government. So, and there is a lot of emphasis, New Zealand being a welfare state, there's a lot of emphasis on children, youth, and families. So there's always a demand for any of these uh, areas like child, youth, and families. So I think her course choice is good. As far as your sales job, being able to find a job in sales is concerned, like I said, a lot will depend on your background, your experience, and most importantly, your communication ability in English. So if you're able to bring those skills to the table, I think you will be doing all right. So, but because you're coming as a couple, I strongly recommend that you get in touch with us because it should not become a situation where your wife gets a student visa and your visa doesn't get granted. So that can create a very tricky situation. If you work with us, because I'm a licensed advisor, we can put all your applications together at the same time and ensure that you guys get the for visas for the entire family. So please do get in touch with my team, Vishal, and my team will also get in touch with you. So please respond back to them, and we will take it forward from there. All right, and guys, when my team tries to get in touch with them, please respond. We are not devils, we are not demons, we are not people who will hound you to death. We're just people who will give you good information, and you want to take it and take our service and our advice and want to come to New Zealand. We will stand by you throughout. After you take our admission, our advice and our information, you say, "Hey, look, this is not for me. I'll go. I don't want to do this." That's fine. We are absolutely fine with it. But please to gather the information, and please give us the courtesy of responding back to our emails and our queries, because I sit here week after week and give out a lot of free information. So the least you guys can do for me is to respond back to my team when they get in touch with you. All right, thank you. Adam has written back saying, I'm 32 years old and currently working as an assistant hotel manager in a four-star hotel in Saudi Arabia. I have 15 years hands-on experience, out of which 5 years in senior management level, only having GC ordinary level as my school education with no other education, professional qualifications except my working experience, and has IELTS academic overall 6 points. I would like to see an opportunity of getting an offer letter NZ to follow postgraduate diploma in mature student concept. Please advise me. I think the problem is not so much with your lack of qualifications, Adam. I think the problem is more the lack of your IELTS, because to get into a level 8, you need to have an IELTS score of 6.5 academic with no band score lower than 6. So the problem is not so much your lack of not having the qualification, because you rightly observed we can present the case saying, okay, he does not have the requisite bachelor's level qualification, but he has got so much of experience that can substitute for that. My problem is not with that. I think my problem about you getting into a course is at the PG level is your IELTS, because for IELTS they are very strict about getting 6.5 with no band less than 6 for to get admission into the level 8 programs, which is what a postgraduate diploma is. So I think we will talk to you, and but I think you definitely need to reset your IELTS, because at 6, no institution will give you an offer, because these institutions are governed and audited by an organization called New Zealand Qualifications Authority, which is a government body. And in their audits, if they find out that they have given an admission at level 8 to a person with a 6 band IELTS, they will shut that school down. So no institution will take that chance, and that is why you will have to reset your IELTS, Adam, and reset your IELTS academic or PT academic, and get a 6.5 with no score less than 6, and we will absolutely fight for your admission. And I'm quite confident we should be able to get it. But you need to first give us your side of the bargain, which is to get the right required IELTS score. All right. Hope I have answered that. Jeffen. Okay, Brown Boy Tech. Brown Boy Tech is my dear friend from Wellington, one of our most happening students based in Wellington. Hi, Kunal. Good to say hello to you again. Dear Arun, good day. How do you tackle? See, I like the way my students immediately become Kiwis. He's written good day, which is how we greet each other here. We run into each other on the street. We go, good day, mate. How do you tackle employee exploitation and underpayment per New Zealand laws, as residency considers a minimum standard pay? It boils down to individual integrity, Kunal, because if an employer is underpaying their employees, it's more a reflection on the integrity and the sad person that employer is. I mean, say I have a couple of full-time employees here in New Zealand, and I don't disrespect them. I pay them what they deserve, and ensure that the payment their salary goes on time and stuff. So how do we tackle employee exploitation? Is, I think, maybe those guys who are exploiting them need to get some spiritual advice, to be honest, or the employees who are being exploited need to have the guts to make a complaint to the labor department, And I swear the labor department will come and absolutely, ensure that the person who is exploiting is taken care of legally and in the right way. So that's the only way. The guy who is exploiting needs to change his attitude and say, "These are my fellow human beings. I should not exploit them." Or the employees should say, "All right, this guy is exploiting and is living in a law-abiding country like New Zealand and doing this nonsense," and report him to the authorities, and the authorities will come and ensure that guy is shut down or fined or whatever. So that's the way to do it. Augustine Johnny asks, name is Augustine. I am from India. I completed my graduation BCom in 2016. I have 13 back papers and I cleared in 2018, which is the best course for me. Augustine, I don't think your backlog is matter to us as long as you have passed it. Of course, some institutions might flag it and say, "Oh, but this guy has got so many backlogs." We will look into it at that matter and put forward our advocacy. We will fight on your behalf and say, "Hey, look, but this is the reasons why he had backlogs." Uh, because you did your become your logical progression to a course has to be in the commerce field, business, commerce, that sort of things. Unless and until you have some entirely different idea and want to become a 3D animator or something like that, and you have the aptitude for it. So we will be able to advise you, Augustine, if you are able, if you can connect with us. We would like to look at your background. I would like to ask you some more questions. And I keep telling my team always saying we are like doctors. The moment somebody comes in, we can't say, "Okay, here's your tablet, take it and go away." We need to ask a lot of questions. If you go into a doctor's clinic, the guy first touches your wrist, checks for the pulse, then he'll check your eyes, then he'll probably check your temperature, and then ask hundreds of questions. What did you eat last night? Are you sleeping well? Did you fight with your wife? So on and so forth. They ask a lot of questions, and then based on that is when they come out with a diagnosis. We are very similar. The moment, Augustine's question is a good question. I've done my BCom. What is the best course for me? If I'm a good advisor, I shouldn't immediately say, "Oh, this is the best course for you." That shows I'm actually a very bad advisor. Instead, what we would like to do, Augustine, is get some more details from you. Please email your CV to info@agvglobal.com. We would like to see what are all the papers in which you were strong or weak. We would like to ask you some questions about what you want to do in the future. Put it all together and then put some options in front of you. One, two, three, four, five. Then discuss with you saying, "Okay, this by doing this course, these are the outcomes. By doing this course, these are the outcomes." And then after about a week or 10 days, we will be able to arrive at what is the right course for you. So if you guys are looking for a good doctor for your international education, you're talking to the right people. So stay in touch with us. We are the absolutely the perfect doctors to give the right course for you guys. Right, Dang Uttadera Jatda. I don't know what that last bit is, but I hope I spelled that right. Sir, how long is the post-study work permit issued after completing PhD? It's the same like any other course at the moment. At the moment, whichever course you do, you're getting a 1 year work visa. So if the rules change, maybe you'll be eligible for 3 years, but at the moment, it is just one. Sanpreet Kohli, hi Arun. How can we reach the employer for part-time jobs while we are studying? Sanpreet, if you have to, for me, I can't get into that because it's a very long discussion, and I like to give those advice one-to-one to our students who are present in New Zealand. So, if you're already in New Zealand but not an AJV student, unfortunately, we may not be able to help you. But if you're still planning to come to New Zealand, get in touch with us, and we'll guide you at each and every step, including how to find part-time jobs. In fact, we have created a nice list of all the places where our students can go and find part-time work. Sometimes we network them with some of our other students, and overall, guys, I think our students are doing really well, and that makes me very happy. I mean, that's the only reason I can sit here week after week and talk to you guys and sound confident about what we are doing, my team is doing, and that's why welcome all you guys as well. All right. Cool. Saurabh Savan says, my wife is a Mehndi artist and she has masters in arts. How is my chances to migrate to New Zealand? I mean, say Mehndi and all is very particular to one country, Saurabh. So it's not a it's not a global talent that people are wanting. So obviously, it's not a very highly in demand kind of a thing. What your wife can perhaps do is to do a course in New Zealand related to design and creativity, and based on based on her level of course, you could possibly come as a work visa holder, and either she or you then find a job, and based on that, you should be able to get your migration. Go to YouTube and check out uh, video I made, which says migration pathway. I think it says how couples can migrate to education, to how couples can migrate to New Zealand through education. I think there is a video like that on my YouTube channel. Take a look at that, and it will explain to you. Also, send your CV and your wife's CV, Saurabh, to info@ajvglobal.com. We will have a look, but purely on Mehndi artist, I don't think there's a lot of choice. Maybe she have to move into graphic design or something like that, which is a bit more globally accepted. And then that might be a better way of doing it. When I ready, hello sir, I'm studying hotel management in Hyderabad. So I want to do internship or job in New Zealand. As I said, job is very difficult in New Zealand. So can I apply for internship? I mean, even internship is difficult. When I mean, why would a New Zealand employer want to give an internship to a guy doing hotel management in some other part of the world when we locally have a lot of very good hotel management graduates who also want internships? So your first thing, Vinay, you have to get yourself into New Zealand. So and the best way to do that is to come as a student. And once you come in as a student, you will understand New Zealand, make some contacts, network yourself. And then whether you're looking for internship or job, then it becomes easier. But sitting in Hyderabad and hoping to get a job or internship in New Zealand, I think you're daydreaming. It's absolutely not going to be possible. Uh, Somebody asked me, hi, I'm currently a level 7 graduate diploma student going into my last semester. Will the proposed changes affect current students? Don't think so. Whoever has come on under a particular policy, that policy will apply. My team is saying I'm into my last 5 minutes, so I'm going to run through these questions now. Uday Kiran, what will be the total cost of masters in agriculture in Lincoln University in INR? Very good question. Fantastic university. I strongly endorse Lincoln University. I think the masters should be around 25 to $30,000 if you're doing a 1 year course. So that's what it is. And beautiful university. We've had a lot of success. Uday, please send your CV to info@ajvglobal.com. We would love to assist you to get into Lincoln University. The head of international is a very close friend of mine, and we've had great relationships with Lincoln. And we would love to work with you if you're planning to go to Lincoln. And so please connect with my team. Dhruval Irie, can I get study visa for certificate course level 3? I did level 7. Very difficult if you're dropping from level 7 to level 3. You possibly could if you're already onshore, but send your details, email your details to info@ajvglobal.com, and we'll have a look and advise whether you can get a student visa for a level 3. Bashir Ahmed, I've just done inter in humanities and would like study in New Zealand. So, what is the visa ratio? And after getting degree, is there any chances of PR? Bashir, you seem to have done just intermediate, so don't know what level of course we can look at. I don't know what you mean by visa ratio, but I don't even know which country you're from. But each country has got a particular visa success rate, and like how every agency has also got a visa success rate. Last year we had 89%. This year, I'm absolutely certain we will be 93 or 94 or maybe even 95%. So we are very good in that stuff. So Bashir, we'll need to get much more information from you before we can advise you of a course, because your intermediate is quite low. So do we get you into a bachelor's or what? We will need to look at. Plus, we also need to see about your English ability. So please send an email with your CV to info@ajvglobal.com or inbox me on Facebook. Rajat Khanna, I have shared my career credentials with you guys till maybe 10 days back. However, I have not received any update. Please assist. Rajat, I'm sorry there was a delay. Normally, my team is very, very good in responding back. Team, if you're listening, I'm sure you're listening. Nishanti, please make a note of Rajat. In the next 10 minutes, I want a connection with Rajat so that we can close this matter out. Okay. Rajat, sorry about the delay in connecting you. We will connect with you and advise you what are the best courses. Parminder Jodha, I am working or helping my father in farming. The agricultural land is on name of my father. I've done 12th and also have around 6 years of gap in between, and since then till now working with my father. Can I come to New Zealand to do farming related courses despite huge gap? Absolutely, Parminder. Absolutely. I like the clarity with which you have written it. Well done. You have written it very, very beautifully. That's a very well asked questions. Don't worry about the gap. And if you've done only up to the 12th and you seem to be very interested in farming, we would love to put you into a good level, maybe a 2 year diploma or a 3 year bachelor's. And like I said, we would love to get you into Lincoln University. You also have seem to have your heart in farming because you seem to, we would love to work with you, Parminder. So when my team connects, please respond back and we will help you. Don't worry about the gap. We will take, we will put it forward in the right way to the visa officers and ensure you get a visa. Don't worry about it. Okay, Hibson Daniel, sir, myself Hibson. I'm working in Kuwait as a quality control engineer. I need to move on, so let me know is there any hope for civil guys like me. Good scope, Hibson. Email your CV, and if you're married, your wife's CV to us, and we'll come back to you about the different opportunities available. Amarjit Singh, can I move to nursing or any other study? What requirements like childcare? Amar, depends on your background whether you can get into nursing or into childcare. So please email your CV to info@ajbglobal.com. We'll have a look and then come back to you. Okay, right. I seem to have Mamona Bukhari, PhD post-study work visa length. At the moment, 1 year, Mamona. Roger Coben, as I'm CPA in the Philippines with 10 years work experience, what can your path can you suggest migrating to New Zealand? It has to be through studies, Roger, because direct migration is almost ruled out. I've made very extensive videos on this, so please go watch it on YouTube or email your CV. And if you're married, also your wife's CV um, to info@ajbglobal.com, and we will come back to you with what are all the different pathways available. And Mamuna, my team has just confirmed that you are working with us with AJB. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. I really admire people like you choosing to work with us when you have so many options. So big thank you from me personally. Like I said, PhD post-study work visa length at the moment is 1 year, but if the rules change, you might be able to get 3 years. And since you're coming as an AJV student, don't worry, we are always there, one phone call away to give you all the information and continuous guidance, Momona. And also, very proud to have a PhD student because I love working with PhD students because I think you guys bring in a lot of knowledge and depth to the society that New Zealand already is. Hopefully, one of you will also inspire me to do a PhD eventually in my life. Yogesh, hi Arun. If I already have an admission offer letter, will your team help me with the remaining procedures? Please suggest. Yeah, Yogesh, we probably can. Depends on which institution it is from, because with some institutions we are able to seek for representation. And see, the way it works is very simple, guys. When we get the offer letter and we do everything, we get compensated by the institution, and that is why as a recruitment consultant, and that's why we are able to offer you guys free services. But if you come to me and saying, hey, look, I already have an offer and help me with only the other things, and the institution is not willing to recognize as the official representative and is not willing to give us a compensation, then we have to ask you guys to pay us money for the processing. But the option is there, Yogesh. And thanks for saying I already have an offer, but I'd like to work with you guys. I appreciate that because you will also get a lot of support from us after you reach New Zealand. So that's a very good reason for you to work with us. So connect with my team, share your offer letter, and based upon whether we are able to represent you formally or not, we will still do something for you. Don't worry. All right. Yay! Last question, sir. How is Pacific International Hotel Management School? As I have done my bachelor's in hotel management, so give you a review on this college. Excellent institution. Only yesterday, I was exchanging emails with the marketing manager called Shraddha, and their senior manager also is a very good friend of mine. And I have visited New Plymouth a few times. It's got excellent credentials. Pacific International Hotel Management School, which is called PIMS in short, PIHMS. Is a beautiful institution. We have a lot of regard for it and strongly, strongly recommend it. Okay. Wow, I've done really well. I mean, I've covered everything today and on time. So, yeah, I think I'm getting better and better at this. Guys, thanks as always for being part of my broadcasts. I'm beginning to enjoy them despite my throat giving up a little bit once in a while. But overall, it's an absolute delight and joy to sit here week after week and give you guys some very honest, authentic information about studying and settling in New Zealand. Great country, amazing country. We need great people. We need amazing people, and nobody will become a better future worker or resident of New Zealand than very good international students. So talk to us. We are the specialists who are trying to attract top quality into New Zealand through the education pathway. We will stand by you. We will guide you, and we will share that meal of success with you once you get that New Zealand residency. That's a promise. Okay. So thanks, guys. This live session will become videos on YouTube as well as Facebook in about 5-10 minutes time. Please share it with your family and friends. And as always, much appreciated for your support. Please talk about us about AJB services to your family and friends as well. Good night from Hamilton. Bye bye. Oh, one last. Mamuna is asking if I apply for a PhD and got admission and visa, then how many time needs my husband and children to join me in New Zealand? We can apply for all of them together, Mamuna. So again, because it's involves your family, and because you're already talking to us, we'll give you individual attention and information. Don't worry about Mamuna. We are also very good at uniting families and bringing them all together into New Zealand. Okay, good. Right, guys. Good night. Bye bye. I already did my end speech as well. So I'll go away and till the next time. Bye bye from Hamilton.